Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
I have a friend of mine who used to work in PR in Tulsa, and what he would do is he'd pull out the Wall Street Journal and he would look and he would circle national stories, and then he would take another sheet of paper and call his clients and say, "Do you want to comment on this?"
Right.
Do you do that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, I do it online, but
Yeah.
same type of thing. So anytime you can scan and see, a national story, that give it a local peg, send the national story to the reporter. Here's the local angle. Here's the expert that'll talk about it. They're available today.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out like 4 or 5 things real quick. We'll just kind of brainstorm through it.
Okay.
Winter Olympics, at the time of this taping, are going on.
Right.
There's people that are luging.
Right.
You think if I made a luge in my backyard in Broken Arrow and it was like 200 yards long, I could probably get in the news?
Absolutely.
Broken Arrow guy builds a 200.
Exactly.
I'm just like, I'm inspired by the Olympics and I built this luge.
Yeah.
And then they say, why are you doing it? And I say, well, but our company, we specialize in making these speedy products. We sell motorbikes and hot rods and fast cars. And I just wanted to, one more way I have a need for speed.
I actually have a good local example we just did for the news for Olympics.
Yeah.
And Cook Time with Remy, chef, that's one of our mentors.
She is a unbelievable teenage
13-year-old chef, and she's got a cookbook out that's recipes from around the world.
Yeah.
So we took a recipe from all the countries represented in the Olympics. And she's going to go on the news and make a little recipe from, Australia.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the local peg of, tie in with the Olympics. So the NBC station that's handling the Olympics is going to have her on. And
I want to throw this out real quick because I've had to learn this. I married a wife who's an incredible lady, and she's has high standards, weird stuff like that. And we go out to eat, or we'll go to a friend's house. And growing up, I didn't maybe think of these things. But when you go out to eat with somebody, and this guy's lady's husband or someone's talking about baseball, you shouldn't be like, speaking of baseball, what about me? And then you just switch subjects and go into your own thing. Or you shouldn't be like, baseball, speaking of baseball, let's talk about politics. You just don't do that. Now, as a young husband, I would do that kind of stuff because I just didn't understand the social nuances. It seems like in PR, it's kind of the same thing though. Like you find what people are already talking about. It's a local conversation. And you're just coming in with something that relates to it.
And you have to make sure it makes sense, so you don't want to pitch something that doesn't make sense. But Olympics, I think of the chef that can make, recipes from around the world, the fitness guru that has how do you get your body in Olympic shape. The nutritionist or registered dietitian that can talk about what to eat. What do these athletes eat? So there's all kinds of things around just the Olympics.
What now? Can I send out a news? This is a juxtaposition. People are in an economy. Economy is. Some people say the economy is tough. There's a client that we know. I'm not going to mention the names here. It's far off in a different coastal region of a different country, not even in this country, who loves to announce they have specials going on. Like we have some stuff on sale. And, because the economy, people are trying to get stuff on sale, right? Why can't I announce my sale, right? Can I not do that?
No, it depends on what it is. So, I think if saving money, yes, but maybe, here's 5 ways to save on your cell phone plan. And, oh, by the way,
it's not a story to say that my appliances are on sale?
No, not a story. That's an ad.
Really? Yeah. Even though people are struggling in the economy?
But what are 5 ways I could shop for an appliance? How do I research? What do I find out before I go to the store? That's information.
Now, move number 3. This is a move I'm into. I'm into this move. This is the move that I'm into this move. This move is humor. Now, this one can be a little rough because when you try to do something funny and it's not funny, people feel like that's not funny. So, but it's the media's audience is made up of humans that want to be entertained and emotionally wowed. So, like when Arthur Guarino, you got to Google this guy. He's so beautiful. But the world's largest iced tea.
Right.
There's nothing serious about that.
Right. No.
It's not like we're building the world's largest iced tea. It's a funny thing.
Right, and it's a talker.
It's a talker.
Yes.
So, world's largest iced tea, world's largest snow cone.
Right.
People do crazy billboards.
Yes.
Now, as far as just humor goes, I think the risk that you have if you're not naturally someone who people say you're funny,
Right.
you probably don't want to go there.
I would get advice. Humor needs to be funny, and it's subjective. So I would focus group that.
Yeah.
If you're going to put a commercial out there that you think is funny, don't have your mom and your sister and your wife watching it and telling you, but I would get a true focus group where you could go in and put it on and get the reaction of people to make sure.
You a big flash mob person?
Yeah, I like flash mob. I do.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I don't not personally, but I think when it first came out, that was humorous. That was good.
Now, the final move here. There's a lot of moves, but these are the 4 main moves. Is image.
Right.
Image, okay, so image. Well, what do we talk when we say image? I'm going to get into this here. Viewers want to see something. The reason why we're watching television with the vision, emphasis on the vision,
right,
is we don't want to hear something. We want to see something.
Right.
So a ribbon cutting.
Right.
Right? We got a ribbon cutting. We've got, what are some visual things we could do? Ribbon cutting.
If you had, local celebrity, is the mayor going to be there? Is, important, people in the community, maybe a news anchor going to show up?
Now, one thing I did a company we worked with recently, I had a drum line
right,
show up for their grand opening.
Right.
For no other reason than I knew it would be a big visual.
Right.
And I thought,
absolutely,
media shows up, it seems pretty exciting,
right,
the drum line there. But you got to think of a visual, don't
right,
you?
I'm working with a wellness facility, and we're getting ready to do a grand opening, and we're going to have different people working out in the parking lot every hour. So you've got the yoga group out there,
yeah,
and then you've got, the bar people and the boot camp and, the runners and all of that. So
the bar people?
Bar, like ballet, bar.
Bar fitness. Okay, I didn't know if you've got a group of alcoholics that are working out.
Not in the fitness hall. But, something like that where people are going to drive by, there's balloons, there's something going on, makes them stop and see, hey, something's going on over there.
Okay. Now, the thing about the image here, we can get upset, and I think maybe, I don't know if you did earlier in your career, but this is how I did. I used to be like, this is stupid that I have to get a ribbon and a big old pair of scissors.
Right.
I'm talking about the big scissors,
right,
and a big ribbon. I have to give a big check,
right,
with the big number on it.
Yes.
I have to have a big golden shovel,
yeah,
to dig my little hole for my big grand opening.
Right.
I thought this was stupid. Stupid, and now I do it.
Right. It creates a story. If you think about the newspaper, they're also they need a picture to go along with the story a lot of times. So that creates a visual, makes it more interesting.
So what would you say to the person watching this right now who says, I don't want to buy a golden shovel. Right. I don't want to do...
You don't have to do the golden shovel. Come up with something unique to your business.
Okay.
Is there something that you could uniquely do?
But you've got these 4 moves to think about. So if you're sitting down marinating, these are your 4 moves. If you're totally stuck, we'll put the book up on the screen here so you can see it with a book here. But Michael Levine's book on guerrilla marketing, guerrilla PR is unbelievable. It'll give you endless tips. Now, the perfect pitch. If you have this great story idea,
right,
and you don't pitch it properly, if you don't wind back and do it properly, it's going to get rejected.
Right.
It's going to get just knocked out of the way, So I want to go through a press release with you.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of fallacy about this. Yeah. And so why can't we just send over a document in any old format?
Right. Because they're going to throw it away. They have too much coming across their desk at once, and they quickly, in the first paragraph, have to know who, what, when, why, where. Okay. Quickly, what's going on. So,
Deedra, with the press release, why can't I just put it up in any old format? Why can't I just send over a fax with some handwritten stuff on it and say, woohoo, we're doing some stuff?
It makes it more uniform for the reporter if everything's coming across their desk is kind of in that same format, so they know they can quickly look at the top, who, what, when, why, where, in that first paragraph. There's a media contact on there.
Yeah.
More information's at the bottom. At the very end, you want to put stuff about the company if they want more. Okay. You don't start the paragraph about who your company is.
Now, on the press release, and everybody watching this, you'll be able to download an actual outline of an actual press release that we've used for actual news before. But you put the contact in that top left.
Right.
And then you have the subject, the headline.
Right.
So what's a headline you could come up with? What's kind of a headline we could go with?
Yeah, just capturing them with exactly, something unique and interesting. So local's always good. Local dentist or Tulsa dentist.
Okay, so I'm gonna put local dentist.
Gives, $5,000 scholarship.
Gives $5,000
to needy children.
Scholarship to the needy children. Okay, now that is an example of a headline you could send out, right?
Right.
Now, in there, you have to have, in this press release, we don't want the whole thing to really fit on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, right?
Right.
And in there we need to talk about what? Who?
Who?
Okay, who?
What?
What, yep.
When?
When?
Why?
Why, okay.
And where?
And where? And if we do this concisely, then if you follow this outline we're giving you here,
right,
then the media can quickly decide whether this is a news story that's relevant or not.
Right.
Now, one thing I have found is who, what, when, why, where, and how can you prove it?
Right.
Like I found those supporting stats,
right,
any type of supporting stats. And I'm just going to make up some examples that maybe are bad, just to my old self, what I used to do. Mm-hmm. You can't send like a stat that your brother wrote on his Facebook blog.
Right.
You have to have like a stat from something credible.
Something credible and source it so they know where you got the information.
So if you said local dentist gives $5,000 scholarships to needy children, it says who, Dr. Such and Such,
right,
what, he's giving away $5,000, when, it's the Saturday.
Right.
Why? Because he cares about the kids, where it's going to be here.
Right.
And in fact, did you know in Tulsa alone, there's over this percentage of kids that do not have proper dental care.
Right.
And then we put a quote there that's provided by the United States, like the U.S. Dental Association or something.
Right. And I would do a quote from that actual dentist as well. Why does he want to give back?
So a quote, okay. And then also a visual.
Right.
Right? We'd love to have a visual attached if we could.
Right.
Okay. Now, so so this is our press release. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're watching, you can download this. Mm-hmm. But I would say you need to, the way it was told to me by my PR consultant years ago, he said you need to write it like you're the actual reporter.
Right.
Make it look like you're the actual reporter. And if you do,
right,
I'm going to love it because you're kind of doing my job for me.
You've done the job. They can copy it. I've seen it time and time again. Copy, paste, and it's in the paper exactly how I wrote it.
Ooh. Now, I see a lot of reporters that will add a little flavor, but I have seen that happen.
Right. And so that's a compliment. If you write it in a good way, then they know when your email comes across their desk or your phone call, they're taking it because they know it's going to be something they can turn around and copy and paste, because there's days they need to do that.
1-5.
Now, who am I actually pitching to? I mean, who am I pitching to?
So if you were sending this to the local paper, you could tell, the news crew, they want to be out that day. If he's going to be at the school doing the donation with the big check, the big visual, and we can get the principal on to comment on it, and the dentist is there. We're doing the whole story for him.
So walk me through. Boop, 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 boop. That's how I dial a phone number. Boop, 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 boop.
Right.
I dial. Who do I ask for? I'm calling. And,
So if you're calling the news desk, and this is going to happen at 2 o'clock, I would call and say, find out the reporter that covers education, because this is scholarships.
Okay, now we do that by, again, Googling like the name of the city, the name of the publication,
right,
and education. Find the reporter.
Find her name, and then call and ask for them specifically.
So you say, hi, is Deedra Determan there? And they're like, yeah, who's this? Did I say that or what?
No, they send you straight to the voicemail. And, if they're not there, leave them a voicemail. Hopefully you can catch them on the phone.
What do you say on that voicemail, Deedra?
I have a great local story for you today that you can turn really quick. I've got all the information. It's a local dentist that's giving $5,000 scholarship to needy kids. It's over here at the local school. I'll have the dentist there. I'll have the principal that can actually comment. And we're available anytime you are.
You're giving me so much goodness here. I just want to make sure the folks at home have time to just jot this down. Because you're saying, I've got a quick local story for you.
Local story, quick turn.
Quick turn. What does that mean?
Quick, you can turn the story quick. You can come cover me, and you can go to 2 other places, because I'm going to have everybody lined up when you get there.
Okay.
I'm doing her job.
Okay, so you just have a little great local story.
Right.
Quick turn for you. What else?
It's about, donating scholarship to needy children, heartstrings that we talked about.
Yeah.
So local, they're looking for local.
Local.
Needy children.
Local.
They cover education, and this is a scholarship story, so it fits right in their beat. And, it's going to be an easy turn.
Now, here's one thing that unnamed former client of mine used to do. hey, such and such, this is such and such up here with this business.
Right.
And we're doing a special this Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we have got some great items coming in. We've got this unbelievable item. Now, I picked this up at market. A lot of people don't know about it. And then he's just like, boop, just delete that beast.
Right.
Boop, just delete that beast.
Right.
I think a lot of people feel like they have to leave a huge voicemail.
Right. No, they're going to delete. They don't have time. So I would get your thoughts together. Who, what, when, why, where. Have it right in front of you. So I always call first to have a great local story. Have you gone into your meeting yet? No. Here's the story. I'm going to email you the information right now.
All in the voicemail.
On the voicemail, if you have it, I would email as well and
Yep.
go ahead and send it over. And then I would call the assignment desk.
So, I want to make sure we're getting it here. We're taking all this, we're writing the press release first.
Uh-huh.
So step one is we're going to write that press release. Step two is we're going to call.
Call.
Step two is call. Step three,
That's how I personally do it.
by the way, that's how every PR person I've ever met who has a functional brain does it. But I know other people who don't have functional brains who've also done well with it. But you write it first, you call. The reason why they do it is because email is so easy to delete.
Right.
And you're so busy, right?
You may not see the email. If you can catch them on the phone, they're right when they get into work, they have to turn a story and come into that story meeting with an idea. You're giving them the idea.
So you write it, you call, then you email.
Then you email.
Okay. So
And then I would take it, if it was a TV station, I would take it one step further.
Oof.
The reporter didn't answer, I'm calling the assignment desk.
Oof.
Because the assignment desk also comes in with ideas. And they don't have a voicemail. They have 24/7, someone answers the call.
So you're going to first write it, then we call the reporter, then
Email it out so they've got it.
we call the assignment desk.
Call the assignment desk and make sure that at least they have got it.
Okay. So if you call and you pitch, let's say you have this format done right, and you call and you send out 10, how many are going to actually turn into news stories?
Maybe one, maybe two. I mean, it's a numbers game. It's like sales. You can throw them all out there, and you might get one bite, and you might get none that week. Depending on how big your story is, and then you might get the yes from them, and then breaking news happens, and there's a school building that just burned down. Everyone scratches your story and goes to the breaking news.
Now, here's the thing I like about Miss Deedra Determan, is that you are a hustler. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people would say, I would rather just pay somebody to do this process. But the great thing is that if you don't have a lot of money, you can do this.
You can do this. You can pick up the phone and call just like I can pick up the phone and call.
Okay, so this is something you can do.
Right.
But really, if you pitch 10, you might get one.
Right.
Okay. Now, why do I need to talk to someone versus just emailing? Why can't I just fax?
Right.
Come on, why can't I just fax?
Just like a sales call. Would you rather be in front of someone? You want to get in front of them with a quick story.
Okay.
What you're going to do, the quick facts, 2 or 3 things they need to see if they're interested. If they're interested, you can give them more information.
I know of a person who faxes press releases, has 0 result, and swears. They have 0 results, and they swear that the media is biased.
Right.
You're saying the fax machine just isn't gonna...
Right, no. I don't even own one, so I don't know that...
Emailing's probably not much better, though, really.
Right, and social media is a new form. You have reporters a lot of times out, on Twitter that will say, hey, looking for a local story, health related, and we'll throw something out there. So if you follow them on social media, you can send a quick idea to them and hopefully get a reaction.
I want to give a little tip here, and if you don't agree with me, you're the boss, but we call the reporter, and I always ask them when I'm on the phone, I always say, hey, are you up against a deadline?
Yes.
And the reason why I always ask that is because my original PR consultant told me, he said, if you tell them that, they now know that you know the game.
Right.
And that you are probably worth talking to.
Right.
But he was like, we get yahoos calling us all the time, and they're like, we're opening a new bowling alley. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of beer. It's going to be a huge foam party, and they're like, sir, we're not a club promotion service. We are a news, or if somebody calls and they're like, we have a special on diamonds this week, and like, that's the advertisement.
Right.
So by letting them know that you up against a deadline, it lets them know you know what you're talking about
and
there.
you're respecting their time.
Okay. Now, why do I want to, when I pitch this thing, do I want to have rehearsed it before I just call? Do I want to have maybe practiced a little bit in my mind or something?
Yes, I'd say you'd quickly need to, know the story and what you're going after. What's the user benefit? How will the viewers benefit from that?
How do we want the person receiving the information to perceive this? I mean, do they want to perceive it like you're giving them a tip? Or like that you're an expert? Do you want them to know that you're with the company you're promoting, or how does that work?
I mean, I always call on behalf of my client, which I think is better, so they know I'm a PR firm. I'm calling, giving them concise information.
So what kind of stuff do you say?
Definitely asking them, is now a good time for a pitch? I have a great story, local story idea, is now a good time. And I've had them say, no, actually, I'm on deadline. I'm getting ready to wrap something. We're running out the door. When's a good time for me to call you back? Call me back at 2 o'clock.
Are your feelings hurt when they say no?
Not at all. Not at all. And I may call back at 2 o'clock and they may not be there, so I might send them a quick email on it, as a reminder. And it just wasn't a good time. Then I move on to the next and pitch someone else.
Now, I know we're not having a training today on mindset necessarily. We're talking about PR.
Right.
But I can tell you the amount of rejection that you deal with,
right.
It's amazing.
Right.
But you still stay positive.
Yeah, because someone's going to cover your story. If you've crafted something that's good, someone will cover it. And if they don't cover it that time, they'll cover it the next time.
So when am I pitching? What's a good time to pitch? You said right when reporters get to work?
Yeah, not close to news deadline. So right before the 5 o'clock is the worst time to call. Don't call before.
So can we lay out them? I'm going to use my new smartboard technology here that Abraham Lincoln and I co-invented. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to work. Okay. So if I'm calling TV, what's the best time to pitch?
If it's a morning show, I'll call right when they get in.
What time is that?
I'll send an email a lot of times before I go to bed because I know they're getting in at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning.
Whoa!
And they'll see it first, and then I'll give them a call, maybe 6 o'clock.
So for morning, you'll often call when?
I'll email at night, so when they get in at 3 or 4 in the morning, they'll get it. And then I'll give them a call depending on, if they're live, if they're on at 6, I need to call at 5 before they go.
So for the nighttime news, what time are you going to call these guys?
Nighttime news when they get in. So if they get in at noon or 1.
Okay, so this is more of a nooner sort of deal.
Yeah.
And then this right here is more of like you call them 3 in the morning?
Early in the morning or the day before.
Hey man,
you can do it the day before.
Okay.
For the next day turn.
Okay, it's the day before. Okay. Now that's pretty cool. Then what about print though? Print paper.
Is often 3 months in advance. If you're talking magazine. So magazines, if right now all the magazines I'm talking to, it's February. They're looking at Mother's Day, May.
Are you kidding me?
No.
3 months out.
So don't
magazines.
pitch them on anything that's happening today, tomorrow, in a month. They don't care. They're done and that's in the can. They're looking 3 to 6 months out.
What about newspapers?
Newspaper is a daily turn. So they are looking for stories now.
When do I pitch that? Now?
Newspaper, a lot of them are 8 to 5. So, let them get in the morning. It's not as a quick of a turn, so it could be like 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is a good time.
10 a.m. is a good time? Cool. Any other outlets you can think of? It's a good time or bad time to pitch?
Bloggers are good, which you can always, they don't usually have phone numbers out there, so you just go online, go to their blog, and send a message to their blog.
Okay. Now, I want to say this. Jim Stovall, who's perhaps one of the most successful guys I know, he's multi-millionaire. He's a blind guy. He's a blind multi-millionaire. He built his fortune after going blind. He's best-selling author. He writes movies, and he's blind. It's unbelievable. He puts his phone number in books. I know a lot of celebrities that are surprisingly accessible, and I know some that are heavily guarded.
Right.
But I know that you're not going to reach anybody unless you call.
Right.
And so I think it's big that we all just call,
right.
And you'll be surprised sometimes what happens.
Right, especially today because people are so used to texting and going online and, a phone call, it works.
How many times a day should I pitch my outlet to the media outlet? Sometimes I pitch my story.
Okay, so I wouldn't say, times a day, I would go after more when you have a story to tell. Pitch when you have a story to tell. Don't pitch every day to pitch. You don't have a story every day.
Okay.
So pitch when you have something to tell.
Where should I be pitching from? Like if my kids are like, wah, wah, I have parrot kids. Wah,
right.
wah. I have five
right.
kids, and for some reason they're always, wah. As soon as I pick up the phone, wah, I'm like, are you a parrot? No, I'm a 3-year-old. But where do you pitch from?
Yeah, I'm in my car a lot of times because I'm driving around meeting with clients and all that. So I'll stop and say, okay, I'm going to call these 3 people and make sure that you have all the information right there. You don't want to have to call them back.
Oh.
You don't have it in front of you. So I carry my stuff. If I'm at soccer and I have somebody calling, a reporter, I go to my car, I've got all my stuff right there, and I'm giving them all the information they need.
You gotta want to pitch from a place where you have all your stuff, though.
I just carry my stuff, or it's in my phone, my computer at all times.
Okay, you don't want to be pitching from like a weird spot where you don't have your stuff.
If you have to call them back, they're moving on.
Because it's that fast.
Right.
24-hour news cycle.
Right.
There's the old school, used to be when the news was on at 6, it's on it in the morning, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now it's 24-hour cycle.
Right.
And it seems like that actually helps us.
Right.
For PR, and we can get on the news more
Definitely.
often. But at the same time, we got to be prepared.
Right. Be
Okay.
prepared and be available when they call. So.
Yep. Now, step number 6, we're moving on here. Mom, we're going to be on the news. So if we're going to be on the news, let's just say that I'm going to actually be on the news. It's kind of when I'm on the news, what do I do? Okay, so if I'm on the news, how should I speak? Do I want to speak in kind of a countrified, funky, fresh kind of a? Do I want to sound like I'm going through a? Do I want to sound eloquent? Do I want to sound angry? I mean, what do I need to sound like? Because you hear so many people say, "Be yourself."
Yeah.
Some people say, "Don't be yourself."
Yeah.
I mean, how do you want to be?
I think crafting that message of what you want to say, what you want to get across, you don't have 30 minutes to tell it. So really getting it down to that quick, soundbite. If it's television, someone's coming to interview you, you've got to quickly give your point because they're grabbing those for the news. They're not grabbing the long, drawn out story.
So,
now,
when you're in an elevator, you're going down a bunch
Yeah.
of floors.
Right.
Yeah, I call it the elevator pitch, but
Right.
the idea is in a few seconds you want to be able to share your idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quote you with a specific number,
Yeah.
but you want to have it maybe 2 sentences or less, what
Right.
you're all about, or maybe 3 sentences or less?
Yeah, 2 sentences I would say. Just keep it short, exactly to the point of who you are and how customers benefit from you.
Example of what you don't want to do. Years ago, in a far galaxy, far, far away, I had a client I worked with, and he gets on the news, and they're like, well, tell us what your promotion's all about. And he's like, well, really, I don't like to call it a promotion. To me, it's more of a movement. And when I think about the movement and at no point did he get to a point.
Right.
And they're like, all right. And then they go on. And he
Right.
was like, I didn't even get to share my
Right.
story. That's how the news works, though.
Right. You got to be quick and concise. They want you to answer with exactly, what you're doing, how does it benefit us, when, where,
You got to go. You have to practice.
Practice. Even
Yep.
if it's in front of the mirror by yourself.
We had a client that you and I were working on together,
Right.
and he practiced in my living room
Yeah.
over and over and over and
Right.
over. And he went from horrible to moderate to, I hope you're practicing some more in the morning,
Yeah.
to, wow, in like maybe an hour of
Right.
practicing.
Right.
But it's just most people don't ask you, tell me about your business, 2 sentences or less.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
And people want to tell the whole story because they've worked on it for years. And, you really got to coin it down to those 2 sentences.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what type of fact checking do I want to do before I appear on the news? Because the elevator pitch, I got that fact check, and this is something that I got to say. At Thrive, we try to be very diligent about making sure that we put the facts, we put the quotes of what authors said,
Right.
what, put a lot of background work into each episode,
Right.
so we do a good job for you guys. I've heard people on the news say, 80% of humans love our lawn service.
Right.
Or something.
You want to be accurate. I think you need to be well versed on your industry. So because they're more than likely going to ask you about something in your industry off of what you're saying. So you're there to talk about, you're a realtor, you're talking about the real estate market. They're going to throw a curveball in something in your industry, and you want to be intelligent on that.
I have a funny story, a little confession, and this is something funny. But the next question is, how familiar do you want to be with your industry? Do you really want to be an expert? And I was working with a mortgage company called ZFG Mortgage. They're still around, by the way. It's great stuff. And I'm not getting myself in trouble. This is good stuff. And they wanted to really get known.
Yeah.
Well, the first-time home buyer tax credit?
Yeah.
It was like $8,000 if you
Right.
bought a house. Well, Lori Montag, who went on to start Zany Bands and Slapwatch, her and I are sitting there marinating. And Lori goes, I know what we're going to do. We're going to come up with this juxtaposition move. We're going to comment on the national story. We are the experts in Tulsa
Right.
on the $8,000
Right.
$8,000 home buyer, first-time home buyer
Right.
tax credit. And everyone's like, well, I don't know anybody who's an expert. Lori goes, Clay, you're doing it. I'm like, yes, I am. If you Google this, Google ZFG Mortgage, Clay Clark, and you will see it on YouTube. If you look at all of a sudden, like, I'm in the news the next morning. They are coming. And on the news story, they label me as a mortgage expert.
That's right.
And I had to know everything about that. I mean, I studied everything, and I knew that, who qualified, who didn't qualify, all that, and I worked on it. How much should I know about it? Because I'm only going to be on for 3 minutes, but what is kind of your rule? Because I know I read everything I could know.
You want to definitely be well-versed in your industry, because you get that one shot. You're on the news, and if you did a good job, I guarantee in 2 months, when there's another story that's similar to that, who are they going to call? You were a reliable source, you came on, you sounded intelligent, they're going to call you.
We got a ton of calls.
Right.
But I remember the main asked me, like, well, tell us about the home buyer credit. And I was like, well, the way it's working is to stimulate the economy. We're offering the government's offering a home buyer tax credit for anybody who wants to buy their first home.
Right.
And so if the rates are so low that if you're renting an apartment right now and you're paying $1,000 or less, you could buy a house that's worth X amount or more for actually less than you're paying for rent. It's awesome. You should check it out.
Very relatable, because you gave an example too that the viewers at home would be related.
I spent forever on that, and I was on there for like 30 seconds.
That's okay. You're the expert.
How much time, honestly, should I devote to practicing before? Because
well, I think each person is different, because some people can naturally speak in front of a crowd.
That's my first time. Deidre, come on, my first time.
Very first time, and you know that you're not, that's not your thing. I would definitely spend a couple of days, if you have time, going through it, and asking other people to give you feedback.
Have you seen somebody crumble on TV?
Yes, it happens a lot.
Love mortgages. You've seen that?
Right, and I always tell people, you're not talking about anything you're not familiar with. You're talking about your industry or your business. So if you just treat it like you would treat a customer and talk to them, just think of it that way.
Avoid mistakes. Let's talk about these mistakes, because there's mistakes that we want to avoid, and you've seen it, Deidra. You've seen it. I know you have, and we're not talking about your clients. We're talking about other people's clients, because your clients have never made mistakes. What are the mistakes that people often make when they get on the news? The ones where you say, whoa, buddy.
I mean, number one is appearance. You're going on the news, you're the expert in your industry, so if you come, half hair everywhere and, forgot your makeup that day and, aren't dressed professional. So it depends on what your job is, but if you're in the staffing firm, you better look like someone I want to hire. If you're a fitness guru, maybe you're in workout gear, but it needs to be polished.
I'm a fitness guru. I just still work out right now. I'm trying to relate to my audience. Okay, so the thing is, you want to look the part.
Look the part. Yes. Be professional. Look the part. Smile.
You always dress sharp, and I always go, that's Deidra, because she looks sharp. Cut myself in the eye looking at her. So how do you, is it important, the appearance? I mean, honestly, is that important?
To me, your appearance is just as important as your logo, as your website, as everything you put forth.
Packaging?
Packaging. It's part of your package. If you're a business owner, people are looking at you. How do you represent yourself is how your brand is being reflected. I think it's one of the most important things.
What can I do if I'm going to be on the air tomorrow? Because a lot of times this happens quick.
Right.
So I'm on the air tomorrow, okay?
Right.
So the quick prep. Go ahead and give me the quick prep. If I've got to be on the air tomorrow, you say, Clay Clark, guess what? Such and such called. You're on the show tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Elevator pitch, first thing. Get
Elevator
that
pitch.
down. Get it down, practice it in front of the mirror. Make sure that you can quickly tell who you are and how you benefit the customer.
Cool, got it.
Then, I think you want to talk about appearance, because we just talked about that. Busy things never look good on the news. You want to wear more solids. You don't want to be distracting. If people are looking at you and you're wearing a lot of bling or a lot of distraction, they're not listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So more on the conservative side,
You wouldn't put grills in the night before you're on there. Okay.
Right.
All right. So then you want to practice, you want to avoid.
Practice. Definitely fact check and, be as well versed on your industry as you can.
Now, two tough questions here. What kind of performance is going to almost guarantee that you come back? What is in your mind, the perfect performance? Because, I remember reading a story about how Oprah, when she first hosted the show out there in Chicago.
Right.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
And the phones lit up, and she was so real.
Right.
Then you hear about the mayor from Toronto.
Right.
And he's something. And he says some crazy stuff. What's the perfect performance in your mind look like?
You know, I think to be asked back, if you can quickly get a rapport going with the anchor or the reporter that's talking to you.
Okay.
Quickly get a rapport going where you guys have good conversation. You're not talking over them. You're waiting and listening to their questions and answering it properly. That's a great way to get asked back.
Now, some things that I've noticed that people do, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and just bring up some of these because banishment. This is something I've seen happen. Like, you know, friends of mine, people I know, not recently, but years ago, different planets, different countries, weird, different lifetime even. These guys, one of my buddies, he goes on the news. Mm-hmm. And he jokes about things that you shouldn't joke about. You know, and privately, he's like,
right.
He says some things, kind of man logic, locker room talk. Maybe you shouldn't say it anyway, you know. But he's like kind of bantering with the reporter, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he says some of that on TV, and they're like, and then he just keeps doing that. What are some of the things like that you just can't do? I mean, what are some things that are going to get you banished?
I mean, definitely, if you're that loose cannon, they don't want you on live news. Anything can happen. You could say anything, and so
racist. No.
Oh, anything. I would avoid all of the above: religion, politics, racism, any of that.
So you know, if let's say you're Asian and you personally think it's funny to tell Asian jokes because you're Asian, you can't do it.
Right, and I think there's just that professionalism. You would never see a news anchor do that, so if you would never see them act like that, I wouldn't go there. Now, there are lifestyle shows that are more relaxed, that do have humor, where you can interject humor, but definitely keeping it tasteful.
I just know that a lot of people were raised in the woods, and then they're on TV all of a sudden, and I think there's that, like, what do I say, what can I say, you know, find that out. So you're just saying avoid racism, avoid sexism, avoid religion,
anything that might be controversial.
Politics, anything controversial.
Right.
Okay. What about curse words?
Yeah, absolutely not. There's lots of stories of anchors that have gotten fired.
I know. I just bring it up. I'm bringing it up here because this is the stuff that you can't really ask your PR teacher sometimes.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Definitely keeping it professional.
Okay. Cool. So hopefully I'm helping some people here. If you're going to be on the news, this is what you do. So Deedra, you know, there's a lot of just great books out there for PR, but if I get on the show, this is what happened for me. After I discovered that it was kind of not easy, but you could get on the news, I found myself a few times getting on the news, and I'm like, oh boy, if I'm going to be doing this whole PR game, what's a book that's a good book to kind of get me the right mindset on how to really build a group of followers and how to really just use PR?
Right. So, one of my favorite books is Monster Loyalty, and it's basically talks about Lady Gaga and how she got these raving fans. And, when I first saw the cover of the book, I thought, Lady Gaga, what does she know about marketing or PR? And I started reading and was just fascinated. I actually stayed up all night reading it, which was crazy. But she produced these raving fans, and the way they strategically did it is it's fascinating. So,
I know with Thrive, what we've decided to do on Thrive, I don't care if there's only 7 of you who subscribe, but we have decided that we're like, entrepreneurs are going to love this.
Right.
If you're that 13% of Americans who are self-employed and you want to know what you need to know, that's who we're focused on.
Right.
We know our niche. This is who it's for. It's not for everybody. It's for the entrepreneurs out there, and that's a great book to do that. Now, the question that I would have here, moving on, is the follow-up. So you get featured on the news, right?
Right.
And I think that's the goal. And I think back to myself at a young age.
Right.
And I kind of say, self, you are a bad, bad man. But I would get on the news, have all sorts of media coverage. I remember Boeing Airlines, Alice Hargrove. Alice, where you at? Alice called me and said, we'd like to schedule you for our 40th Boeing anniversary party. We think you'd be the perfect DJ. We heard about you in the Tulsa world. And I'm like, yes, I'm booking. My phone's ringing off the hook. I didn't even call the reporter. Tell her thank you.
Yes. I think
I didn't call her.
I'm a fan of thank you notes. I mean, I have note cards with my logo on it. Looks professional, stays in my branding, and a quick handwritten note. Because if you think about today, everybody's on their phones, they're texting. It's email. It's not personal. So that personal touch.
So the kind of follow-up that I should do is what you're saying, a handwritten thank you note.
I like to do handwritten thank you notes.
I'm going to tell you this. I get a thank you note. One of the guys who's an investor in Thrive, Sean Copeland. He's a beautiful man. He's a CEO of Regent Bank. He always writes me a handwritten note.
Right.
Clifton Talbert, handwritten
Right.
note. Deedra Determan,
Right.
handwritten note. I get handwritten notes only from, really, I mean, people that are going someplace.
Right.
When they take the time to do it, it just means so much more.
It does. It means it's meaningful, and I think people appreciate it, especially in today's day and age. You don't see that as often.
So when I'm on the news or media, as a follow-up, I should send the thank you note. And what are some of the worst things that I could do as a matter of follow-up? Like, what are the bad things? What are the things I should not do? Follow-up, we'll call them follow-up follies. I have a couple stories. Is there anything you can think of off the top of your head?
I think for one follow-up, if you try to pitch the very next day to have yourself again, you were just on.
Yeah.
They're not going to have you on again. You know, there's kind of a cycle that goes through. You know, I try not to pitch. If I pitch a client, I'm going to pitch them once, and then I'm going to go a couple other outlets and pitch them again maybe in 2 months.
So that intense pressure stuff is not good.
Right.
I know I had a client of mine who I said, hey, you want to call the reporter, tell him thank you, send him a thank you note. You know, just send him and I remember that this is years ago, but he called back and he says, hey, when can I be on again?
Right.
Like this person, like the reporter works for them somehow, just didn't go the right way. The reporter actually called me and said, hey, just so you know, I know he's a friend of yours, but he just like pressured me.
Right.
So you can't do that.
You know, another great follow-up that I have all my clients do is we always take a picture at the news station, wherever we're at, during the interview. So you have the anchor reporter that's doing the interview, and take a picture, you know, with their logo in the background, the show, and then post it on your social media. Post it on your, you know, your Facebook page, Twitter, thanking them. So I do that a lot and tag them so they know you're someone who else is promoting. They want to get viewers as well.
So the photo with the host and a social media post is big?
Right, so think about that. You're with a celebrity, so you've just established yourself as an expert in the news with that celebrity. You're posting it on your social media, you're tagging them, it's going on their page, it's going on your page, and it can be a quick thank you.
I've done some things over the years that have helped me, but you're a PR expert. I'm going to ask, and then you kind of say, that was kind of crazy. Or, that was good.
Okay.
I know one thing I've done a lot is I've sent my book afterwards, written a note in there and said thank you. I've sent the book.
If you have a book, you should bring it to every interview and personally sign it for the person interviewing you.
Okay, so you always have the signed book?
Always do that.
Okay, so I've done the signed book thing, and that's always done really well for me. Another thing that I've done is during certain times of the year, like remember one time we're going into Halloween, and I dropped by an obscene amount of candy for the newsroom.
Right.
I said thank you from all of us at yada yada. And it seems like a lot of news people, you know, you're busy, you're always going to be caffeinated, have some sugar. Is that okay? Or
yes, that is okay. I mean, you know, what I do is I have a couple of chefs that I book. Cook Time with Remy is one, and every time she's on and she's cooking a great recipe, we leave the food for the crew.
Oh, cool.
The crew's there, they're working long hours. A lot of times they don't leave for lunch. We bring extra, and what she's making right there, we just let them enjoy.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old, but I've never had the two-time Heisman Award-winning Tim Tebow come present. And a lot of people, you know, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Also, this is the first Thrive Time Show event that we've had where we're going to have a man who has built $100 million net worth.
Wow.
Who'll be presenting. Now, we've had a couple presenters that have had $1 billion net worth in some like real estate sort of things.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've had a guy who's built a service business, and he's built over $100 million net worth in the service business. It's the yacht driving, multi-state living guru of franchising. Peter Taunton will be in the house. This is the founder of Snap Fitness, the guy behind 9 Round Boxing. He's going to be here in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma, June 27th and 28th. JT, why should everybody want to hear what Peter Taunton has to say?
Oh, because he's incredible. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He is awesome. He is inspired me listening to him talk. And not only that, he also has, he practices what he teaches. So he's a real teacher. He's not a fake teacher like business school teachers. So you got to come learn from him.
Also, let me tell you this, folks. I don't want to get this wrong, because if I get it wrong, someone's going to say, you screwed that up, buddy. So Michael Levine, this is Michael Levine. He's going to be coming. You say, who's Michael Levine? I don't want to get this wrong. This is the PR consultant of choice for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Nike, for Charlton Heston, for Nancy Kerrigan, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times best-selling authors he's represented, including pretty much everybody you know who's been a super celebrity. This is Michael Levine, a good friend of mine. He's going to come and talk to you about personal branding and the mindset needed to be super successful. The lineup will continue to grow. We have hit Christian recording artist Colton Dixon in the house. Now, people say, Colton Dixon's in the house? Yes, Colton Dixon's in the house. So if you like top 40 Christian music, Colton Dixon's going to be in the house performing. The lineup will continue to grow each and every day. We're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup. But I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, when's it going to be? June 27th and 28th. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And so it says Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. So when? June 27th and 28th. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
James, did I tell you my good friend John Lee Dumas is also joining us at the in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop? That Tim Tebow and that Michael Levine will be at. Have I told you this?
You have not told me that.
Oh, he's coming all the way from Puerto Rico. This is John Lee Dumas, the host of the chart-topping EOFire.com podcast. He's absolutely a living legend. This guy started a podcast after wrapping up his service in the United States military, and he started recording this podcast daily in his home. to the point where he started interviewing big-time folks like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Tony Robbins, and he just kept interviewing bigger and bigger names, putting out shows day after day. And now he is the legendary host of the EO Fire podcast, and he's traveling all the way from Puerto Rico to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend the in-person June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop. If you're out there today, folks, you've ever wanted to grow a podcast, a broadcast, you want to improve your marketing, if you've ever wanted to improve your marketing, your branding, if you've ever wanted to increase your sales, you want to come to the 2-day interactive June 27th and 28th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop featuring Tim Tebow, Michael Levine, John Lee Dumas, and countless big-time, super successful entrepreneurs. It's going to be life-changing. Get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. James, what website is that?
thrivetimeshow.com.
James, one more time before enthusiasm.
thrivetimeshow.com.
Shine, everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it could get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done this show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hours. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed, to the business owner, to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa! Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years of business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, and very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
Biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence. That businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do the
these things, they're stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you.
I can see the marketing working, and it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live 2 years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? Nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
If you decide to not attend the Thrive Time workshop, you're missing out on a great opportunity.
The atmosphere of Clay's office is very lively. You can feel the energy as soon as you walk through the door, and it really got me and my team very excited.
If you decide not to come, you're missing out on an opportunity to grow your business. Bottom line.
Love the environment. I love the way that Clay presents and teaches. It's a way that not only allows me to comprehend what's going on, but he explains it in a way to where it just makes sense.
The SEO optimization, branding, marketing. I've learned more in the last 2 days than I have the entire 4 years of college.
The most valuable thing that I've learned, marketing is key. Marketing is everything.
Making sure that you're branded accurately and clearly. How to grow a business using Google reviews, and then just how to optimize our name through our website also.
Helpful with a lot of marketing, search engine optimization, helping us really rank high in Google.
The biggest thing I needed to learn was how to build my foundation, how to systemize everything and optimize everything, build my SEO.
How to become more organized, more efficient.
How to make sure the business is really there to serve me as opposed to me constantly being there for the business.
New ways of advertising my business, as well as recruiting new employees.
Group interviews, number one. Before we felt like we were held hostage by our employees. Group interviews has completely eliminated that because you're able to really find the people that would really be the best fit.
Hands-on, how to hire people, how to deal with human resources, a lot about marketing, and overall just how to structure the business, how it works for me, and also then how that can translate into working better for my clients.
The most valuable thing I've learned here is time management.
I like the 1 hour of doing your business is real critical if I'm going to grow and change.
Clay really teaches you how to navigate through those things and not only find freedom, but find your purpose in your business and find the purposes for all those other people that directly affect your business as well.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everyone needs to attend the conference because you get an opportunity to see that it's real.